So moving on with the bond calculations, let's see here. What I'm going to work on now is figuring out the valuation of bonds payable. So there are two amounts that we calculate. So there's the actual cash expense for the bond, which is how much money as say I have the surfing company, is how much money I'm actually going to pay as a check every pay period. And then there's also the total interest expense. So how do we calculate the amount that's actually being paid? That amount is always going to be the same formula for this. Is going to be the issuance amount times the coupon rate. It's always going to be, in my case, 1 million times 14%, but I'm doing semi-annual, so times 0.5. It's always the same things, and it's actually going to stay the same throughout all your payment periods. So when I'm talking about how much am I going to pay for it, always stated rate times the face value of the bond. This is the face value, right? And this is going to be the stated rate, synonymous with coupon rate. How do you calculate the amount of interest that is actually recorded as interest expense by the issuer of bonds? Now, this is the market rate times the carrying value of the bond. Alright, so carrying value, very important concept here. I think a lot of people struggle with this here. So carrying value is going to be here, and this is what the bond is. That's the amount that the bond is being carried at. So the first carrying value is the sum of the present values of future cash flows. Again, how did I get this 910? I took the PV of the principal, the present value of the principal, and the present value of the cash flows. What's the present value of the principal? Well, this is the million. I'm going to give it back to them in 3 years. So it's you can look at the formula here. It is just the present value of 1 million at a rate of 0.09 over six periods. You can experiment with the formula. And then the present value of the cash flows is just the present value of each payment. We discount it back depending on the number of periods it's been outstanding. Now, that's how you get the first one. I know that's already a project, but most of the time this will actually be given to you. But I want you guys to play with this file just to calculate it once, because you will actually see that it's not that hard. Now, the carrying value of the bond after the first time is the present piece plus the amortization piece. So every period we amortize the bond a little bit, and the amortization amount is interest expense minus the coupon. So what's the interest expense? Like we said, it's carrying value times the market rate. So this is the yield rate, the market rate. This is 18%. This is what the bond is yielding in the market. Now, why conceptually does it make sense that I always feel like it makes sense the carrying value times the yield rate gives you your true interest expense? Because the carrying value is sort of the market value of the bond, and the yield rate is the market rate. So just like with the actual par value times the coupon rate, you get your cash expense. I look at it the same way as, real carrying value or real value of the bond times the real rate or the yield rate, the market rate, will give me my real interest expense. It's sort of like, what's my real principal? 910,282. What's my real rate? Is 18. So the product of the two gives me my interest expense. And of course, it has two components. One is cash, and the other one is the amortization. This is the amortization. And let's see, going back here, the PowerPoint, I want to show you that now how do you calculate the amount of interest that is actually recorded as interest expense? Market rate times the carrying value of the bond. And I'm going to continue with this example in the next video.